Maajid Nawaz is the founder of Quilliam and the author of Radical, My Journey Out of Islamist Extremism, and he joins us tonight. We're always happy to have him. So explain, if you would, the thinking behind not just being straightforward with the public about an event like the one we saw yesterday in Sri Lanka.
Well, Tucker, let me begin by saying I am a Muslim, and I express my deepest condolences to Christians around the world due to this and after this horrific jihadist terrorist attack in Sri Lanka that claimed nearly 300 lives. And look, I am married to, your viewers may not know, I am married to an American from a Catholic family, and it's why it's so important for me personally to make this point. There are Muslims around the world that find this horrific. Unfortunately, some of our leaders, and in particular some of the political leaders that you've named, are suffering from what I believe is an intellectual and moral retreat from our Enlightenment values. And also there's a level of political cynicism involved here as well. The intellectual and moral side, they for a while now, whether when Barack Obama was president or even after, they have been unable to, and I've been calling it the Voldemort effect even on your show, they've been unable to name Islamist extremism by name and jihadist terrorism being its violent manifestation because they genuinely believe that a bigger threat due to their political perspective is white supremacy and far-right extremism. And then, of course, there's the pragmatic political side of things. They are pandering to a certain vote base, and they fear that by naming these things, even if they wanted to, it would cause them trouble with their vote base. And that's not how I operate. It's not how I think any decent human being should operate. What happened in New Zealand was a white supremacist terror attack, and what's happened in Sri Lanka now is a jihadist terror attack. And it behooves us all to speak plainly about this so that we can address these problems head on.
Yeah, I mean, what does it say about how they feel about their own populations in this supposed democracy that we have, that they can't be straightforward, as if most Americans can't handle the idea of knowing that Islamic extremists did this and still, and not hate all Muslims? I mean, they have a low opinion, I think, of their own population.
Well, the Washington Post analysis you referenced that feared a far-right backlash, and I've read the article in question, and it selects only those who are from the right of the political spectrum and their reactions to the terror attack in Sri Lanka, the jihadist terror attack. It's very easy to do that, by the way. It's lazy bait journalism, and I advise fellow journalists and broadcasters not to stoop to this level. I could do that, for example, after the New Zealand white supremacist terrorist attack. I could have said that the East fears a backlash from jihadists, and I could have hand-selected and quote-mined only Islamist and jihadist reactions to the New Zealand attack to try and portray the fact that only the jihadists and Islamists were upset about it. It's a dishonest way to address any issue post-crisis. I think, sadly, Tucker, too many people play politics with tragedy, and they allow for their own framework and their own biases to influence how they view human tragedy, and then they use that to peddle their own political narrative.
That's
and it's
exactly
enough now.
Right.
I think we should all try and be as consistent as possible.
Yeah, and stop lying, because lying makes everyone cynical. And it causes the backlash you fear, actually, I think.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Maajid Nawaz, thank you. Wise voice, as always, in a moment like this. Thanks very much.